There are some homes in the city of Edmonton that you really should think twice about buying. And I'm not saying that you can't buy any of them, but what I am saying is you need to know what you are actually getting into. And today I'm breaking down the 5 types of homes that might look good on paper, but could actually cause major regret and thousands of dollars down the road. And make sure that you stick around until the end, because there's a bonus tip that most buyers overlook, especially if you plan to stay in your home long term. Hey, my name is Allan Dignard, and I'm a local realtor here in the city of Edmonton, and today I'm just getting straight into it. These are the kinds of homes I caution clients about all of the time, so let's get right into this. Number 1 is homes with poor lot grading and drainage issues on expansive clay soil. Edmonton sits on a lot of clay soil. This stuff is notorious for changing volume. It expands when it gets wet, and it contracts when it dries out. That constant movement can wreak havoc on a foundation, especially if the home's lot grading hasn't been done properly. The city of Edmonton is very clear that it's the homeowner's responsibility to maintain the surface grades. If the ground slopes towards the house, you're just inviting water to pool and put excessive pressure on your foundation, which can lead to cracks, bowing, and settlement. Foundation issues don't mean you always just walk away, but you need to know what kind of soil you're working with and whether the foundation is actually doing its job. Here's the deal. In Edmonton, you need to be hyper aware of the grading. Look for signs of poor drainage. Things like standing water after a rain or some snowmelt, or just visible cracks in the basement foundation. And yes, get the inspection, even on a newer home. I've seen homes less than 5 years old with drainage issues simply because the grading had settled and nobody has caught it. Number 2 is houses in high-risk flood areas without proper mitigation. You might be thinking, flooding in Edmonton? What are you talking about? I'm gonna be blunt here. Edmonton has a flood history, primarily along the North Saskatchewan River and in older neighborhoods with aging drainage infrastructure. Flash flooding from heavy rainfall, those quick winter melts from above average winter temperatures, and river overflow is a real concern. The most severe floods in our history, like the massive one in 1915, were river related. However, today the city of Edmonton is actively working on a citywide flood mitigation strategy because many neighborhoods built before 1989 have older drainage systems that can easily get overwhelmed. Some places that look totally normal on a sunny day are actually sitting in areas the city has identified as having a high risk of surface ponding or drainage issues during a major storm. I've personally reviewed flood maps for homes that looked perfect. They're in a great area, the price is solid, and found out that they sat right on the edge of a high-risk zone. Once you factor in the cost of flood insurance or mitigation work, the deal doesn't always make sense. The takeaway here is even if a home looks perfect, always check the Alberta Environment and Protected Area flood maps and ask about the neighborhood's drainage and history. Your realtor should be able to help you out with this. Remember, water is sneaky and expensive. Number 3 is those historic homes that haven't been updated in decades. I get the appeal. Historic homes in areas like Old Strathcona, Glenora, or Westmount, they have incredible character. They have things like crown molding, original hardwood, and vintage tile. And they usually have a 50-year-old furnace and outdated wiring like knob and tube, which is considered outdated and unsafe due to its lack of grounding, brittle insulation, and inability to handle today's modern electrical loads. So it's often a fire hazard and is a major concern for home insurance companies. I get it, the charm is real, but so are the costs. Some of these homes haven't been touched in decades, and what they need isn't just cosmetic. We're talking electrical, plumbing, insulation, which is critical in our climate, and sometimes asbestos or lead paint remediation. That cost adds up very quickly. I've walked through many older homes where buyers fall in love at first sight, only to realize that once we factor in the renovation and permit requirements, the numbers just don't add up anymore. So yes, buy the historic home if you love it, but make sure that you go in with your eyes wide open. Get a thorough inspection and make sure that you set a realistic reno budget, because you are gonna definitely need it. Number 4 is unpermitted renovations or illegal secondary suites. If you're buying a home in Edmonton and you see a beautifully finished basement, an extra bathroom, or even a second kitchen, you need to stop and ask, was this permitted and is it legal? Unpermitted work is common, especially in older neighborhoods where you have that do-it-yourself project where that was kind of the norm. The problem? You could actually be inheriting someone else's shortcuts or problems. In Edmonton, the biggest red flag is often illegal secondary suites. A finished basement that doesn't meet the city's strict safety codes, like proper egress windows, fire separation, or even separate furnace ducting, is a liability, and the lender won't count that rental income if the suite isn't legal. I've seen buyers fall for a mortgage helper that turned out to be completely unpermitted. Once we checked the city's permit records, it became clear that the cost to actually legalize it would wipe out the entire rental return altogether. If you can't verify that the work was permitted and inspected, build in time during your condition period to actually investigate. It's better to ask now than have to pay for it later. And number 5 is new construction in oversaturated communities. I get it. New construction can be very tempting, right? Everything is shiny, it's brand new, it's move-in ready. And walking through that show home makes it easy to picture your life there. But sometimes what looks like a great deal up front can cause problems later on, especially in new subdivisions on the outskirts of the city where builders have overbuilt. I've been watching this trend in a few communities on the outskirts of the city. Gorgeous homes, great schools, solid amenities, but rows of nearly identical houses that are sitting on the market for months. That's not the kind of competition you want, especially when it's your turn to sell. When you're one of hundreds of similar homes, resale becomes a challenge. Builder incentives, rising rates, and shifting demand can actually start to work against you. So yes, buy new if it fits your goals, but make sure that you do your homework. Make sure you check the inventory levels and the absorption rates. If it feels like you're stepping into an overcrowded market, chances are you probably are. And if you've made it this far into the video, it's time for my bonus tip: to think long term, aging in place and future mobility. Here's the part that most buyers actually don't think about. When you're looking for a home, don't just think about today. Think 10 or 15 years ahead. Multi-level homes can be beautiful, but stairs can be a challenge down the road, whether that's for you, your partner, or maybe family that's just visiting for you. The layout, the doorways, the entry points, they all matter more than people actually realize. If you're thinking long-term, look for homes that are simple, smart, and adaptable. Main floor bedrooms, wider hallways, fewer steps, and accessible bathrooms aren't just conveniences. They're actually that long-term freedom. You don't need something labeled senior friendly here. You just need a home that can actually evolve with your life. If you're thinking about buying a home in Edmonton, I hope this gave you a few things to think about before you actually dive in. Every property has pros and cons. It's just about knowing what to look for, what questions to ask, and what works best for your life now and down the road. If you have questions about a specific home, want to talk through what you're actually looking for, or need help navigating the market, feel free to reach out to me. All of my information is down in the description below. I want to thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe and share it with anyone you know who may be house hunting in the Edmonton market. And I'll see you guys in the next one.